Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks very much for your patience whilst we wait. My name's Mark, and I'm a member of the Learning Solutions team here at Sage, and I will be taking you through today's session. And today we're looking at reporting in Sage Accounting. That's both the standard version and Accounting Plus. So today's webinar will last around 30 minutes, and then we'll look at questions at the Q&A session after that. Now, I was expecting a few more attendees today, but we'll make a start, and hopefully by the time I've taken you through the general housekeeping for today's session, a few more delegates will have joined. So just a quick piece of housekeeping. I have muted everyone's lines just to stop any background noise or interference that can sometimes happen in a group meeting scenario such as this. However, that doesn't mean that you can't interact or ask questions. Please do. To do that, simply submit your questions using the Q&A panel in your GoToWebinar window. Now, you will receive a link tomorrow with a recording of today's session. And please note, I've also included 2 PDFs for you to download if you want to for today's slides. One has all of the links embedded live, so you can use them for, say, the Help Center and also Sage University, which I'll go through later. And the other one is black and white if you do want to print that out for your own use. So I do have Claire helping me today, and she's on the panel, so please feel free to ask questions. I will check in the Q&A section towards the end of today's session, just to go over any and share any questions that I feel are useful to the group. So let's make a start, and we'll look at today's agenda. So today we're going to look at what are the main reports in accounting. Where do you find them? Where and when would you actually run them? The dashboard summary, cash flow forecasting, and then we'll go through any further support you might need in our help center. So let's make a start by looking at what actually is the profit and loss report. So in summary, the P&L, as it's otherwise known, displays the total sales and expenses of your business during a specific period. And it calculates the profit by subtracting the associated costs from the sales. So the profit and loss report is also known as an income statement or a profit and loss statement. So why is it important? So it shows if your business is making or losing money. It shows where you are making money, if you are, and it shows you how much you're spending and what on. So what goes into your profit and loss? Your sales, which is how much you've earned through selling goods or services from other income streams. Your direct expenses, also known as the cost of sales, and this represents the cost to you of selling your goods and services, such as the cost of raw materials, staff, or purchasing a product to resell. For example, you'll spend money on food and staff if you own a restaurant, for example. And then your overheads is also known as expenses or indirect expenses, play a role in the general running expenses of your business, unlike direct expenses, which are directly related to a specific cost, such as a service or product. So some examples of overheads are wages, rent, repairs, advertising or travel costs. Then you've got your gross profit, which is the amount of money you make from your sales, and your net profit, which is the amount left over when you've paid all of your bills and other expenses. So for each one of the reports, I'm going to go through a quick summary like I just have, and then we'll dive into actual demonstration of the report itself. So if I just bring up my Business Cloud Accounting here straight away. So as we've just described, the P&L summarizes the revenues, costs and expenses incurred during a specific period. So to run the standard profit and loss report from the menu, across the top here, we've got all of our main menu items. So if you just go to reporting on the navigation bar at the top, so you can either use the drop down If we hover over reporting, I can just go down to profit and loss standard, or I can literally click into reporting, which I'm going to do because I'm going to show you where all of your reports exist to start off with. So here straight away, you've got all of your reports on one screen. You've got your essential reports, which is your P&L, your balance sheet, your trial balance, aged debtors and aged creditors. You've got your VAT reports, your export reports, your products and service reports. So all of your reports are available from one screen. On the left, you've got all your essential, and on the right, you've got your more detailed reports, such as day books, your profit analysis, your nominal activities, audit trails, charts of accounts, and then underneath your cash reports. And at the bottom, you've got your data reports. So they're all available from one screen. And apart from the customizable reports, which I am going to show you for P&L balance and your trial balance, all the rest, the standard reports, are your standard date range filterable out of the box reports. They are quite standard in accounting. In other words, you can't really change the layout. You can change the date range, and you can export to CSV or export to PDF for every single report. But if you do want to filter and add other rows and columns, you will need to use the customizable reports. And you can see here the customizable reports are available for your P&L, your balance sheet, and your trial balance, which I'm going to go through today. So to run the standard profit and loss report from the menu, like I said, you can just hover over, but I've clicked into reporting, and now I'm just going to click into my standard profit and loss. So this will take you into your standard date range filterable report, like I said, and we can easily change the period by clicking on the period. You've got the choice of this month, this quarter, this year, or you can customize and change the from and to dates here and then recalculate your report. You can also, like I described, export your report to CSV or PDF. But let's jump straight away into Smart Reporting, which is another name for customizable reports. You've got a link directly to your customizable report by clicking on Try the New Report here. So here we are in our profit and loss customizable Smart Report. So now if we click on Change View, you can see we've got a lot more options straight away from the get-go. There are 3 pre-configured views of the report set up for you, so allow you to view your data by current month. You've also got your prior year comparison, or you can view per month, which will give you a month-on-month report. So the default view that you get combines the best of both the profit and loss and the comparative report, and the profit and loss standard report into a single report that further enhances your ability to customize the report layouts. If we now click on Change Date Range, you can select from the date ranges shown. So if I click into Select a Date Range, you've got, if I scroll up here, you've got this month, this quarter, last quarter, this year, last year, or I can actually click on Custom Date Range and enter in my start and end date ranges and apply those changes and then run my report. But for this demo, I'm going to leave it on this month. If I go back to Change View, if we select Prior Year Comparison and run the report, this shows your balances for the current month and the year to date for both the current and previous financial years, including a variance percentage. So you can see if the variance percentage is shown in red, this indicates a drop compared to the previous year. In addition to this, you can add filters. and I can add analysis types. Now, analysis types can be set up in the main accounting software in your accounting. You can go into settings, business settings, and then analysis types, and you can set up analysis types that will enable you to raise invoices, raise quick entries, and whenever you add banking transactions, you'll be able to tag on your analysis types that you've set up in settings. So here I can add up to 2 analysis types. I can add departments, and I can add up to 3 departments in one go. And I can add another analysis type. In this case, I can add cost centers. If I try to add a third, you can't. You can only add up to 2 analysis types, which is fine. But you can rename these departments or cost centers, whatever the analysis types you want to rename. You can rename those by staff members or actual geographic names, whatever you want to use. You can actually change that in your settings. So you can report on separate projects within your business. If I cancel out of that, in settings, I can now choose how to show my balances. I can decide on either showing period movement only or as a rolling cumulative as across all periods. I can also decide to include columns with year-to-date closing balances or remove those as I see fit. Now, drill down balances are available as they are with your standard out-of-the-box reports in accounting. In Smart Reporting, they are also available. I can actually drill down on any balances to see the detail. I can select any underlying balance to see how it's made up. If I drill on an amount which spans many accounts or months, it'll open in the nominal activity summary report for you to review the balances. Or if I click on a single account for the month, it'll open up in the detailed nominal activity report for you to review the transactions that make up that account. Now I can actually click into these balances and it'll take me directly right the way down to the data entry screen. In this case, it's a sales invoice. I can actually edit the sales invoice from this screen unless you've actually done a VAT return, if you're VAT registered and you've run your VAT return and this particular transaction has been included in that VAT return, you won't be able to edit this amount. Now, if I go back into the profit and loss here, whenever I'm happy with this report, I can click on Save As and rename the report, and you'll be able to actually, in Change View, in Custom Views, once you've saved a report, you'll be able to see all of your customized reports in Change View. I can now use Share. If I click on Share at the top right here, I can send this report directly and attach it to an email just by clicking once on Send via email. Or I can export to save a copy from our records or share with others. You can choose from PDF, Excel, or CSV. Great, so I'm going to go back into my slides and let's cover off balance sheet. In summary, so this report provides a snapshot of your financial position by summarizing its assets, liabilities, and equity. So the balance sheet is also known as the statement of financial position, and it provides a snapshot of your business's financial health by showing your assets, liabilities, and equity, which is the remaining value for shareholders. And this report helps assess liquidity, financial stability, and investment potential. And the balance sheet follows a fundamental equation, which is assets equals liabilities plus equity. And this ensures that everything that your business owns, i.e. the assets, is either financed by debts, otherwise known as liabilities, or by the business owners and shareholders, which is the equity. So again, let's jump into the software itself. I'm just going to go into my reporting menu. Let's get rid of these tabs. So I'm on the main reporting screen. So like I said, a balance sheet is a snapshot of your business's financial position on any given day, and it's usually calculated at the end of the quarter or year. And balance sheets are also useful in summarizing your business's assets and liabilities. So again, from the menu bar, I can hover over reporting and then select balance sheet. And again, this opens up the default out-of-the-box date range filterable report. I didn't show you in the P&L, but let me just quickly show you. I can drill down like I can in the Smart Report. I can drill down and I can actually drill down again, which will take me into the actual data entry screen for this account. If I click back on my browser, on the main balance sheet screen, so again, I can export to CSV or PDF from the standard screen. But again, I'm going to take the shortcut into the Smart Report by clicking on Try the New Report. And this brings up the Smart View, my customizable balance sheet. So now if we select Change View, again, we've got three predefined views set up so you can give you three ways of viewing your data, either year to date, which is the default view, per month, or the prior year comparison report. If we come out of that and click Change Date Range, again, we can select a new date range for the view. With the handy date range descriptions here, so that you always know exactly what date range you're going to report on. And that gives me a good opportunity just to mention that whenever you're viewing a report, it goes across the board for accounting software, for Sage Accounting, both the standard and the plus versions. If you don't see what you were expecting at first, just check your date ranges and rerun the report, because sometimes the date ranges aren't exactly what you were expecting. So here you have the ability to define both your date range and the additional ability to choose how the data is shown. So if you scroll down from the date range section, you can see here you've got, you can add columns for all the selected months and quarters. And you can also add comparison columns for the previous period or previous year. So let's add a column for the previous period. And we can decide whether we want to see the variances shown as either an amount, a percentage, or both. Let's apply those changes. It's running the report for me now. Now in settings, in balances, I can choose whether I want to again show the sum of debits and credits for period movement or closing balances only, and whether I want to include columns with opening balances or year-to-date closing balances. And again, now you can actually choose whether you want to show the accounts by clicking the toggle on or off. And I didn't show you in the last P&L report, you can very easily use the show full screen to maximize your view of the report data. And please don't forget, you've also got the ability to add filters. If I go to add filters, I've got my analysis types, again, which you can set up in settings, which will show the information held against your specific analysis codes. When you're happy with your report, you have two options available. Again, in Share, I can either export the report or email it. But if we do select export, we have three options to export to PDF, Excel, or CSV. If we choose Excel, this actually includes a pre-formatted Excel report, pre-formatted layout. If I open that here, it's opened up on my other screen, 2 seconds, I can drag that across for you. So this is opened up in a pre-formatted report layout, and using this option, you can further analyze your reporting data in Excel. And you can do the same with your P&L that I showed you first. Great, let's come out and go through my slide for trial balance. So trial balance, what is in the report? So the trial balance report includes a summary of all your nominal ledger accounts, your cumulative totals of debits and credits, and a year-to-date column for comparing balances across periods. So if you do need to investigate specific balances, select an underlying balance, and if the amount spans multiple accounts or months, the nominal activity summary report opens, and if it's a single account for a specific month, the nominal activity detailed report will open. And to view your prior year profits, the trial balance report displays all ledger accounts, including prior year profits, and to see a breakdown of the 3100 nominal code, select the checkbox next to summarize profit and loss values. So again, let's go into the software and quickly show you that, because we're covering off similar ground now. So if I go back to reporting, again, I can access it by going to my reporting navigation bar and just scrolling down to trial balance. Let's just get to it that way. Again, this is my standard out-of-the-box date range filterable report, which is exportable to CSV or PDF and completely drill downable again for each nominal ledger. But let's jump straight to the new report, to the Smart Report. So the trial balance report is a snapshot of the balances of each nominal ledger, and it shows each account at a point in time. So the report includes cumulative totals of the debits and credits posted to each account. So now, again, you can change your view to choose the three standard views. You've got year to date, which is your default, your current month, and your prior year. If you have saved any reports that you've created, you can go to custom views and view your custom report that you've saved in. But again, you can use one of the three preset views available. And with the, again, as with the first two reports, you can add filters and run the report by your analysis types that you've set up in settings. So by department, cost center, project, or whatever you've named them in your analysis. You can change the layout under change date range. You've got your date ranges that are preset for you here. your custom date range by entering in the start and end date, and you can choose how you want to group your report data by month, quarter, year, or total, and then apply any changes you want from that menu. And lastly, again, in settings, you can change the balance and ledger settings, and again, export and save options are under the share button, the same as with the other two reports. And again, each value is fully drill downable by clicking on the underlined accounts. So lastly today, we're going to look at the cash flow report. So you can use the forecast to estimate how much money your business will have or need in the future, and it'll help you plan ahead. And your cash flow forecast report shows you your expected cash flow, and it shows when the cash is due in and out. And this is based on when the invoices are due or when the credit notes may be refunded. It also includes any recurring income or expenses due in your chosen period. So again, let me bring up the software itself. So I'm going to go into my accounting license. So just in the front summary screen, where you would expect to have your purchase dashboard, your cash flow statement, you've got your cash flow forecast on this navigation bar under the main navigation bar. So you select the forecast from the summary dashboard, or you can actually select it from the reporting menu. If I go into the reporting screen itself, you'll have the cash flow forecast report. So straight away, you can see you've got your from and to date range filterable boxes here. So just choose and enter the date ranges you want to view and enter in the from and to, and then click calculate. You can choose also in this drop down which bank accounts you want to include on the cash flow forecast. So you can see here I've got a very handy graph set out here, graph layout that allows me to view my cash flow forecast and take any steps I need if I go into the red for any reason. So basically this allows me to really easily cost out what if scenarios. And in this case, if required, I've selected manual adjustments. So you've got manual adjustments both for cash flow in and cash flow out. You can see here that I have selected my manual adjustment for cash flow out. And in this case, I've decided in a couple of days' time, I'm going to cost out and do a what if scenario if I buy a piece of expensive equipment for my business, save that in. And I can now see what the cash flow forecast is going to be for me purchasing a van. I can see that, yes, the expense, I haven't got the liquid cash to buy it, but my balance afterwards is still in the green. So I just want to point out that these adjustments are only for the purpose of the forecast, and you can do the same, as you can see here, with wages. You can enter payroll costs for the forecast period, but these manual adjustments do not update your ledgers. So you're not going to affect anything, and this goes across the board for reporting. I would advise you to go in and experiment with your reports, have a play around with the reports, because you're not going to affect anything, only if you drilled right the way down to the data entry screen and edited that data entry screen. So to view a more detailed cash flow statement, if I select detailed breakdown, go into my cash flow forecast here, and I select detailed breakdown, I can actually view any outstanding transactions prior to the date that you're running cash flow for, and I can choose those by selecting View Prior Transactions. So again, that's just to view any outstanding transactions prior to the date you're running the cash flow for. You can view any outstanding transactions. Great, but that's the demonstration part of today's webinar finished. So I'm just going to go back to my final slides. Before I cover off any further support, I just want to remind you to please pop any questions that you've got in the Q&A panel in your GoToWebinar window. So I just want to take this opportunity to go through further support options available to you whilst you're using accounting. So the Help Center is always available to you. In the software itself, at the top right-hand corner, you've always got the ability to click on Help and then Help Center. It's always there should you need further support, as well as being able to access keyword searches in our help articles or scroll down to use the support hubs. And there is an actual reporting hub there for you. Also, you can click Contact Us and see what options are available for you for using the web chat or speaking to a technical advisor. Just want to quickly cover off as well, making tax digital, which is going to become more important as we go through the next few months and years. So it's important to realize that you are already compliant. If you're registered for VAT and you're using accounting, you will of course be keeping digital records by simply using accounting. So the government announced a phased approach to making tax digital and income tax for self-assessment from April 2026 will begin. So this begins with self-employed individuals and landlords with income over £50,000. From 2027, that will roll out to those between income of £30,000 and £50,000, and then that will actually roll out to businesses under £30,000, and Reviewed will bring that information out more as we get it. But we are offering a free course for you. So if you're a sole trader or a landlord earning more than £20,000 annually, or you're just interested in MTD, making tax digital in any way, or you're interested because you're interested in making tax digital for income tax, we have a free online course, and that's available through Sage University. And if you download the handout that I've included with today's slides, if you see click here, you'll be taken straight to Sage University, which is also available through the Help Center. So if you click on Help, you'll be able to go through to Sage University and pick this course up and complete it. So if you complete this course, you get a free digital badge that can be used on all social media platforms. But like I said, the course is available through Sage University or Sage U on our website. And like I said, I've included a link if you want to download the handout. Great, so let's now look at any questions that have come in today. Please use the Q&A panel in your go-to sidebar if you haven't already done so. Let's have a quick look. Right, I've just been asked there, could I show how to save a customizable report? Yes, of course, 2 seconds. So I'm going to bring up my software now. Let's go in and make some changes to my P&L. So I brought it up on P&L. Let's go into the customizable version of the standard report. So we're in Smart Reporting now. I'm going to change my date range. I'm going to include a previous period. No, I'm going to include a prior year and apply those changes. And as soon as you make one or two changes to the report, you will have Save as View come up here. I'm going to add changes to my settings as well. I'm just going to add my ledger account. I'm going to show at the back end instead of the front end. So now I can save my view. I'm just going to quickly enter this. So I'm going to put P&L April 25. Let's change that 7 to an and save that in. So now I can see that that P&L has been saved as a custom view. And to access it, if I go to change view, in custom views at the top here, I've got my P&L April 2025. So I've had a question, is there any report that can be done by using only quick entries as sales import for your sales imports? So you can run, for that, you can run the sales daybook report and filter the type just to show quick entry invoices. But this will show all quick entry invoices that have been entered in the date range specified. If you're manually entering some quick entries and importing others, then there's no way to split those. You'll just see the imported ones. Right, I've also had a question. I have noticed that Sage does not include CIS payments due on the cash flow forecast. Is it possible to manually enter these as manual adjustments for it to include the amount due under CIS? And does this stay permanently throughout the month? Let's have a quick look. So the cash flow forecast doesn't pick up CIS payments due. You can enter it as a manual adjustment, but it would be, you'd need to enter that manually each time to get a true figure. You will also, just to remind you, you will also receive a recording of today's session tomorrow at some point. So just being quickly asked, is there a webinar for recording and reporting fees paid into bank accounts? There is no other reporting webinar at the moment, but I will feed that back that it is something that you're interested in. I would advise, if it's something that you've got a specific question on, speaking to a technician, but I will advise that that is something that you'd be interested. We may do a webinar for banking, I would imagine, in the future. Great, so if you do wish to leave, thank you for attending today. I'm going to keep the question panel open for a couple of more minutes to answer a few questions. Great, so I will keep the Q&A panel open for a few more minutes whilst we answer questions. However, I will stop the broadcast for now. So hopefully I will speak to you again when I host one of the next in our series of accounting webinars. Thank you very much. Bye for now.